One time, I got grounded by Tupac and sent to my room. Now, you may be wondering how something like that happens, especially because I was grown, but I wasn't really that grown. I was 19 years old when it happened. So, what had happened wasn't even my fault. Okay, well, I did it, but it wasn't my fault what I did when I did what I did. Here's what I did. So Tupac gave me and the other two girls that was his dancers on this 2-city promo tour for All Eyes on Me some money so we could go get our hair and our nails done because these was his first 2 shows out of jail. He then told the promoter, take my girls to get their nails and their hair done and, make sure they get there and they get back safely. And the promoter did just that. But when he dropped us off at the nail and hair shop, he told us that the show started at a certain time. Needless to say, the time that he told us was not the time that the show actually started. So, of course, when he picked us up, he was rushing us because we were running late. Y'all, by the time we made it to the arena, all the opening acts had already went on and Tupac and the Outlaws were literally at the end of their show. Pac hired us to do dance combinations to only the All Eyes on Me songs. And when we got there, he was literally entering in songs that he had did before he was signed to Death Row Records. So we could hear that. Man, y'all should have seen how fast we was running backstage to get to our little bitty dressing room, to get to our clothes. And y'all not gonna believe who kicks in the door. Nah, you knew. Suge MFing Knight. Woo, buddy. Mind you, I got one pants leg in. The other girl got one arm through her jacket. I'm in a bra from Victoria's Secret. And the other girl was sitting down in the seat. And man, he scared the hell out of us. This is what he said. What the MF is wrong with you itches? But put a B in front of it. And we was like, and he was like, y'all know, how dare y'all be late to his first show? I should slap the hell out of all of y'all. Matter of fact, get y'all asses on stage right the F now. And we took off running, half dressed. By the time we made it on stage, half dressed, Tupac had just started Dear Mama. And because that wasn't a song that we were supposed to be dancing to, oh my God. We ended up booty shaking and twerking, and I didn't have no shirt on, and the girl that had the dress on didn't have her G-string was showing, and we looked like fans that had broke through security and just ran on stage and started just exposing ourselves and twerking to Dear Mama, y'all. And the audience booed us off stage. No cap. Pac kept rapping to the song, but the whole audience was like, boo, because who exposes themselves and booty twerks to Dear Mama? Me, us, me, nigga. So after getting booed off stage, we sitting backstage. Pac comes back and he's upset, but he want to know what happened. And after we tell him the story, he kind of calms down. He's no longer mad. And we're leaving the arena and he's in his limo and he tells me to come here and he reaches inside and I'm standing on the outside of the limo and he says, open your hand, and he gives me a handful of tree. They were on their way to the after parties and we thought we was going to be able to go. And he says, oh, nah, y'all can't go with us. You take this tree and you take your MFing ass right to your room. And that's how I got grounded and sent to my room by Tupac. Did y'all even use the tree when y'all got back to the room? Oh, y'all thought we went to the room? Man, we didn't even take our ass to that room. We took his tree. Actually, we went to the room, but Corrupt came from the dog pound, came to our room to make sure that we was okay. And he said that he was going to a party, but not the same after party that they had went to. So our slick asses, because he didn't hear what Pac had told us, decided that we was going to sneak out of our room and go to the party with Corrupt because he was going to a different party that they wasn't at. And let me tell you what happened. We get to the nightclub. Now, mind you, the show was in Cleveland, Ohio. And the club, the after party we went to was in the gulliest, most dirtiest, most raggediest part of Cleveland. And it was so full of gang members. And the guy that took us in the van was like, he said it in the beginning. I don't even know if y'all want to go to that party, but he took us anyway because he gonna do what the stars tell him to do. So we end up going to the party. We there for like 30 minutes before a gang fight breaks out. One gang from one side of Cleveland locked up with the other side of Cleveland, and man, y'all should have seen us trying to run up out of there. Man, they started throwing chairs and bottles and oh my God, I think a snow boot, because it was wintertime, flew past my face. Yeah, nigga. A winter boot. Like, it was like a wild Midwest barroom brawl. You should have seen us. The man bring the van around, and me and Isis, the other dancer, dove pew into the van, and he took off. Doors swinging open and everything. Like, we barely made it out that goddamn bar with our lives. Whole time we thinking, oh my God, Pac told us not to leave. We finna get hurt, go to jail, and have to ask him to bail us out after twerking to Dear Mama. Then when we pull up to the hotel, right before we turn into the driveway to hit valet, we see Suge and Pac. They club is ending and they pulling back up to the hotel, and we pulling up. So we just screamed to the driver, no. We like, don't turn in there right now. He pulled up past the driveway. And Corrupt is like, why y'all, what y'all talking, pull in, what's the problem? Like, we finally confess and tell Corrupt, man, we ain't even supposed to be out our room. Corrupt like, y'all got me mixed up in y'all bullshit. Nah, man, circle the block one more time. Circles the block one more time. Pulls up, they've gone in the hotel now. We pull up, wait about 5 minutes, we pull up, and sneak our asses into the elevators and run up to our room. The next morning, Pac see us at lobby call, walk over to us with his George Jefferson walking ass, and gonna tell us, oh, y'all finally did something right. Y'all listen to it now. Got yourself some rest. I expect everything to go good in tonight's show. Whole time we like, so yeah, no, we ain't even go to our room. We kept the party going with our ignorant asses and almost got caught. Man, I'm so happy y'all be enjoying my stories. I'm having a good time reliving them, telling them. And if you're just getting here, I am the woman that revealed to the world that I am the vocalist on Tupac's song off the Machiavelli album, his last recording album, Me and My Girlfriend. Yup, that's me. I'm also a former employee of Death Row Records. Yup, that's me. I was also in the 90s a choreographer and a dancer, right? So if you see some of my other stories, you saw that I had got grounded by Tupac and sent to my room. For messing up a show and twerking to Dear Mama. Yup, that was me. That's not the only thing that happened on that tour. Fast forward through the story. The last show we did was in New Orleans. And we flew back home out of New Orleans, but we had a layover, okay? And the layover was in Texas. It wasn't just a layover. It was a plane change with a layover too. So can you imagine all of us? It was like the Dog Pound, the group Caution, the Outlaws, Tupac, Suge. Can you imagine all of us getting off a plane for a layover, changing over to another plane? You know, it brought a lot of attention. So seeing Tupac walking around, even in the 90s, even though he's bigger now than he was then, was shocking to a lot of people. So once we got on the plane, him and Suge had flights, first class flights, and the rest of us was sitting back in coach. As people were boarding on the plane, Pac decided to leave front first class and come back with us. So when he came back to the back, he was on his campaign, you know, like kissing babies, signing autographs, taking pictures. Because it was wintertime, he had a fur coat with him. So, you know, the planes, when they don't take off, when they're just boarding, it's hot as hell because they're not really pumping the air like that. So he had this chinchilla coat. Actually, him and Suge and Snoop, if I'm not wrong, if I remember correctly, they all had matching chinchilla coats, okay? And Pac was getting hot. So he takes off his coat and he gives it to Napoleon from the Outlaws. Napoleon takes the coat and puts it in an overhead compartment because it's a big ass coat and it's hot on the plane. Pac don't want it. Shit, Napoleon didn't want it either. So he puts it in an overhead compartment, right? So when we got to the airport, I remember, I think it was Fatal. He had a bottle of Remy. And this is pre 9/11, right? So pre 9/11, you used to be able to get past security with big bottles of anything, as long as the bottle wasn't open, right? It didn't have to be like, I think it's like 8 ounces now. You can't have something more than 8 ounces. What we didn't know was, even though you could get past security with it, you're not supposed to open it when you on the plane. But we ignorant. We're kids, really. Like, I think most of us was like late teens, 18, 19. Some of us were in our early 20s or something like that. I think Fatal and Gaddafi was in their early 20s. And Isis, who was another dancer with us, she was in her early 20s and stuff like that. So before the plane takes off, we start drinking from the bottle, y'all. Mm-hmm. Yep. Ratchets. That wasn't even a word back then, but we was ratchet as hell. What we considered thugging, right? So we open the bottle and we start passing it around. And Corrupt from the Dog Pound drinks from it. I take a swig from it. The Outlaws are drinking from it. Now that I'm saying it out loud, it sounds disgusting as hell that we was all drinking out of the same bottle, lips just touching and passing, just ridiculous. But we was a family, so we didn't think nothing of it. You know what I mean? If I had the chance to do it again, I'll probably do it again, except for this part. We all get back in our seats because it's time to take off. And as we're taking off, one of the flight attendants noticed that we're passing an open bottle. So she comes to take the bottle from us. And instead of giving her the bottle, the Outlaws, now I'm not a part of this, but I consider myself a part of why we got kicked off of the plane, because I too had a sip from that bottle, okay? The Outlaws decide that they're going to play hide the bottle from the stewardess. Now, we're on the daggone runway. We're literally preparing to take off. And they're passing the bottle in between the seat, over the seat, da-da-da-da-da. And the stewardess, the flight attendant, she's trying to keep up with the bottle, but she's getting distracted too, because some of us are trying to convince her, like, we'll put the top on her. And she's like, no, you can't have an open container. Like, I guess they try to control how much somebody is drinking so that you don't get out of control while you on the plane, right? That's why they only serve you a certain amount of them small bottles too. So they don't want you slapped on that plane and trying to open doors and just being ridiculously drunk, right? So now I'm getting upset after she explains to me on why she needs that bottle from us. So I start yelling at the Outlaws, give her the bottle. Just let her have the bottle. Now Gaddafi is yelling with me because she's like, I'm going to have them turn the plane around. We're going to take this plane. She stopped talking to us because nobody can come up with the bottle. Later, I find out that one of the Outlaws or somebody from Caution takes the bottle and puts it on the floor. But because we're headed down the runway, literally getting ready to, we're speeding. I'm out my seat. They yelling at me to get back in my seat. The stewardess goes to the captain, and the captain turns the plane around. The bottle, somebody puts it on the floor, and because we're going, the bottle rolls, or somebody has it. I don't even know. But we couldn't find the bottle to be able to give it to her. So she had the captain turn the plane around to take us back to the gate. When we get back to the gate, it's like 10 marshals waiting for us. They board the plane. Now, we ignorant as hell. We honestly really not even thinking, oh, they turned the plane around for us. This is how young we are. We're just like, oh, well, something happened. I guess we had to go back, right? The marshals get on the plane and escort not just us in the back. Mind you, I told you, Suge and Pac had first class seats, so they didn't have nothing to do with it. They come to the back and take all of us that's on the All Eyes on Me tour off the plane. Now, I'm at the very back of the plane, so I'm like one of the last people to get off. Just as I'm getting to the front exit of the plane, I turn around. I don't say nothing to the marshal, and he's on another aisle. I turn around and I run back. Boop, 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 boop. I'm booking it back to my seat, right? Because Muta, Napoleon from the Outlaws, remember I told y'all he took Tupac's fur coat. They're off the plane. Now I'm arguing with the flight attendant and the marshal. He taking off his handcuffs. This man literally wants to arrest me because I'm running back on the plane. He thinks that I'm trying not to exit the plane, as they told me, I had to, get off the plane. So I'm telling the flight attendant I left something on the plane. Like it's right there over my seat. Like, and she opens the overhead compartment. Yup, Pac's coat. Napoleon left it on the plane. So the marshal puts his handcuffs off. The flight attendant hands me the jacket, and he walks me off the plane, and I'm like, thank you for letting me do that. He like, I was about to arrest you. I was about to take you there. This is what the marshal is telling me, and I'm holding the fur coat, looking at him like I couldn't leave this coat. Like this was gonna be a problem. And he was like, getting kicked off the plane ain't the problem. And I'm like, no, leaving this coat is the problem. Okay. And as I'm catching up to Suge and the Outlaws and everybody else, Pac going off. See what y'all did, and what's gonna happen is the press ain't even gonna say it was the Outlaws. They gonna say it's me. And I don't know if y'all know this, but if y'all hold a plane up in one city, you literally hold up planes all around the world. So disturbing air flight in one place, it's a domino effect. So it's affected all types of other cities, all type of flight patterns and stuff like that. Pac mad. He walking, I can't believe y'all. Now, what's gonna happen is these Texas media, wasn't called media, these papers and stuff like that, the newspaper, they gonna make it that it was me that got kicked off the plane, and they ain't gonna say nothing about y'all. And just as I'm approaching them, I'm still a ways away, but I'm kind of like running, like I got the coat in my hand, and I'm running to catch up with the gang. Napoleon turns around, and it must have clicked in his head. He didn't see me. He starts running towards me. I think it clicked that he had left Pac's chinchilla coat in the overhead compartment. Now I'm running towards him. He running to me, and I got the coat, and he like, oh, Queen, thanks, Queenie. They used to call me Queen back then. They still call me Queen or Queenie. And I'll tell y'all another story. Eazy-E actually gave him that name, and his assistant, Keisha Anderson. But he like, oh my God, Queen, thank you so much. He's literally almost in tears. And I'm like, yeah, man, I almost got arrested. Like they thought that I wasn't trying to leave the plane. And he like, thank you so much. Now me and Moo, we jogging. Napoleon got Pac's coat. We trying to catch up. Just as we catch up to him, I think it dawned on Pac, where is my daggone coat? And he turns around and he like, Moo. His name was Napoleon, but his real name is Muta. Pac called him Moo. We all call him Moo. He like, Moo, give my mama coat. Save Moo's ass just like that. And that's how we got kicked off a plane. All over Bottle of Remy. We disturbed flight patterns and everything. Man, I gotta tell y'all about my funniest moment with Tupac in the studio. This story, I ain't do nothing wrong. It's actually something that happened to me. And these stairs right here is what's triggering me to tell the story. But this story is hilarious. So Can-Am Studios, Studio A, used to have like this small flight of stairs. And when you went up, it was like an SSL board that was like right here, right? So you go up the stairs and there's the long recording board, right? And then there's a couch back there, right? I gotta set up the scene. So sitting on the couch back over there is my baby daddy of Eric B and Rakim, Big Eric. He's sitting back over there. MC Hammer is sitting close up to the board with an engineer doing stuff, preparing for the session. And I think it was MC Hammer's session, but Pac was there, right? And he's like standing up against the wall right here that leads to leave out of the studio, right? So I'm done for the day. I've been there since like 10, 11, 12. I've done a 12-hour shift. And I know you're like, why would you leave, right? Because I worked with them. Like I have to come back and see them tomorrow. Do you hang out at your job after you done driving the bus? After you done whatever your job is doing, you be ready to go, right? So I'm ready to go. Pac's standing up here. I'm up here with him. My baby daddy right there. So Pac telling me, he like, man, you might as well just go ahead and stay. Your man is here. Your favorite person. MC Hammer was one of my favorite artists when I was a little girl. So it was mind blowing that he was at Death Row Records and I got the opportunity to work with him at the studio. So he like, I'm here. All your favorite people here. Queen, where you going? So on my way out, it was like 2 drinks on the SSL board, right? And we had a rule. no liquids on the SSL board, because that's where all them buttons and stuff are. Those of y'all that don't know, those of y'all that's in the digital age, right? So that's where all the fine tuning goes down at. So on my way out, it's two cups sitting right there. So I grabbed the two cups and I look back and I'm like, man, ain't nobody thinking about him. I see him at the crib talking about Eric B. And MC Hammer like, you could stay for the vibe and stuff like that. So I turn and I look at him and I'm like, y'all gonna have to figure the vibe out by yourself. Now at the time, I smoked cigarettes. So I got the two cups in this hand, because ain't no liquids at the SSL board. So I'm finna throw those away in the trash. And it had like Hennessy or something in it. I don't know, it stank. I knew it had alcohol in it, right? I'm being a smart ass talking about y'all gonna have to figure out the vibe on your own. I'm gone. I've been here for 12 hours. I tell Pac, boom, light my cigarette. He light my cigarette for me, right? And as I'm talking slick, I turn, because I had on heels, mind you, I'm working. I turn and I lose my footage, right? I got the two things of liquid in my hand, the cigarette in this hand, and on my way down, Pac don't help me. He grabbed the cigarette out my hand. I got a dress on too, y'all, and I go tumbling. Land, face first. Liquid, whatever was in those cups, all over me, stanking now. And my dress, thank God I had on some undies at this time, because I wasn't big on wearing them back in my younger days. My whole dress is inside out, flipped over my daggone head, like I'm about to fight with somebody playing hockey. How the hockey players pull the shirt over. My whole dress is over my head. So I jump up, boom. I'm mad as hell. I pull my dress down over my head and I turn and I look at Pac and I'm like, why you didn't help me? And he I did help you. I'm like, you ain't do nothing. He like, but I did though. I grabbed a cigarette so you wouldn't burn yourself. Man, I was so daggone mad at him. I left the cups and the liquid all on the floor, went to the office, grabbed my purse, and I was gone. I still want to fight him about grabbing that cigarette and not grabbing my arm. But he right, though. I didn't get burnt.